What's up, Planeswalkers? Bird on my shirt, bird in the game, Theoric6, back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I do, of course, hope you head over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the show, and goddamn, their freaking Dragon Shield sleeves are so good. Such a good price. Obviously, Dragon Shield are good, but good price. Anyway, Bird, Skies, we're playing a Skies deck. This essentially is a modified version of the deck that I played against one of the viewers, Valorn, I think is how you pronounce his name, on one of my Twitch streams. So during the second hour of my Twitch streams, I play a bunch of viewer games, and he had submitted this deck to my Discord, to Ravnica, saying like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And at first I was like, I don't know if Skies is worth playing, but he did pretty well against me, surprisingly. Not because I'm good, because I actually lose a lot during the live stream, but because the deck performed interestingly. So I already had a Skies deck that I wanted to do still, and I just kind of modified his. I thought his was a really nice base, but obviously I did make a lot of adjustments. So we are running 23 lands, 25 creatures. This is a creature deck. We have very little removal in the main deck, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm playing an unranked. This is just meant to be fun. This is not a tier 1 deck. And what's worth noting is that you can relatively easily make this a budget deck, and I'm going to go through that after the games during the sideboard part. For our 1-drops, we have 8. We have 3 Healer's Hawk, 3 Siren Stormtamer, whatever, and 2 Curious Obsession. So the Healer's Hawk, I almost cut, but I realized since we don't really have a bunch of interaction, one of the decks that I figured we might be struggling against are other aggressive decks, right? We're not technically a super aggressive deck, but we are still an aggressive deck. And I figured we might have some issues with that, so that did modify how exactly I chose some of the cards. And Healer's Hawk is just a really nice way to get some, 1, early pressure, and 2, gain a little bit of life gain. And since we do have a few different buffs for our flying creatures, this can very easily gain you 2 or 3 every swing, so that's always nice. Stormtamer is just nice for protecting our stuff, specifically protecting our Deputy of Detention, since that is our really main removal spell, right? So if we're going to be able to play out a Deputy of Detention and protect it with a Stormtamer, that's going to be pretty decent. Curious Obsession is just for a little bit of extra card draw. It also is really nice on the Healer's Hawk, just to gain us even more life. And it also works really nicely with Nightveil Spectre. Speaking of which, we only have 7 2-drops, probably too few, but, you know, the game's worked out fine. Plus we have Depose and Warrant, so, you know, we have supplemental 2-drops. But for our actively played 2-drops, we have 4 Nightveil Sprites. Just a decent flyer, you know, 2 mana, 1/2 flyer is nice. And whenever it attacks, you get to Surveil, which is always helpful, making sure you can just pretty much decide what's on the top of your deck. Always nice. Then, of course, 3 favorable wins. I had this at 4 initially, but I figured that Valorn was correct in only running 3, because you don't always want to see this. Sometimes you just need more dudes and not buffs for your dudes. That said, this is just a buff for all of our flyers, and the majority of our deck are flyers. It's flyers? Whatever. 3 Kinjalli Sunwing and 3 Deputy of Detention over here for our creatures at 3. Sunwing is, in my opinion, just a fantastic and unfortunately overrated flyer. You know, 3 mana for a 2/3 flyer, always nice. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This won me the game against an Is It Drake's opponent, because it makes it so that your haste doesn't matter. Oh, you have Rhythm of the Wild? Don't care. Put them down with haste. Oops. It looks like you forgot. You can't attack me. I'm going to keep getting in the skies, right? Very helpful both on offense both on defense and on offense. Whereas if your opponent does have flyers, they come and tapped, we get to attack through them. Always nice. Plus, 3 toughness, usually pretty good. Deputy of Detention, it's our removal spell. We have 3 of them. She helps. 2 Dovin Grand Arbiter, makes flyers, gains us life. Benefits from our flyers because of the fact that the +1 is going to be easier to, you know, achieve high loyalty addition, because a lot of our essentially all of our creatures have evasion, and the -7 is just nice to find that finishing touch to win the game. So decent 3-drop to have. 2 Sphinx of Foresight, I hate your name, and 2 Elite Guardmage. I wasn't sure. I really wanted to just do a 4 of like one of them because it's, you know, consistency and whatnot. But Sphinx of Foresight has 4, right? It's a 4 mana, 4/4 flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1, the additional 3 from the 4 comes if you have this in your hand. You get to scry 3 at the beginning of your first upkeep. That's real strong, right? If you're going second, for example, you'll have some information on what your opponent's playing, and that initial Scry 3 is pretty top-notch. But it doesn't gain you life. And I figured, as I said, that we might need some help against some of the aggressive strategies, so that's why I thought maybe Elite Guardmage was just better. Unfortunately, this is a much smaller creature, you know, only being a 2/3 in sets, but it does gain you 3 life and replace itself. So in the end, I decided to hedge my bets and just went with both. It seems to be working out fine. But for a more budget version, having 4 of these, totally fine. 2 Windstorm Drakes, pretty much like no other 5-drops. It buffs our flyers. It's not a great body by itself, but I did want to keep the deck relatively similar to what Valorant initially had. We have 3 Depose Deploy and 2 Warrant Warden. Now, there is kind of a Sphinx sub-theme that you might be able to see going on, like, a little. It was a little bit higher previously, but meh. But it's really cool that Warden does make a Sphinx. Flying and Vigilance is always nice, and the ability to just get some nonsense out of your face with the Warren is pretty helpful. But Depose Deploy is, in my opinion, much better because, one, the first half cycles you a card and does protect you, or allows you to get rid of a blocker, or a creature before it could block. And then the deploy aspect gains us 2 flyers, which, if we have favorable winds out, is literally 4 mana for 2 bodies with 4 damage across them. And gains you 1 life for each creature you control. Now, if it's just those, it's still 2 life. That's not nothing. But if you have others, which you should, it's going to give you a lot more, and that's very helpful against a lot of the aggressive decks. Dream Eater, just a Sphinx finisher that is really cool, and I just want to play it, so shut up. And 2 Azor the Lawbringer. Freaking, this card is so awesome, and just can't see play, because if you're playing white and blue, you probably should be playing Teferi, which is so sad, because I think Azor has a really cool ability. It makes it so burn and control decks that have a lot of instant sorceries are less happy, and gains your life draws cards. Like, what's not to love? It's also, you know, a decent 6/6 beater. Pretty good. There's our mana base, and I will go over the sideboard and some ways to make this a more budget-friendly deck in the post-games, whatever. Gotta rehydrate with some pink lemonade. We did play two practice games. I just wanted to make sure I was relatively familiar with the lines of play in the deck, and we won both of them. So, you know, that's always nice. This is a good hand. This is a really good hand. Keeler's Hawk on turn 1 into probably favorable wins. Not sure. We definitely want Healer's Hawk on turn 1, though. Depending on what my opponent plays, it might either be Curious Obsession or favorable wins. I'm just not certain. Blue-black. Well, let's see what they do to my Healer's Hawk. Blue-black makes me want favorable wins instead, because we don't want to put a ton of things in our one basket. Thought Erasure? Well, we'll play what's left, I guess. I assume you take Curious Obsession here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. The unfortunate bit is this looks like a legitimate control deck, which is not great to see in unranked, but it happens. Our first game was against Is It Drakes, and as I said, the combination of Deputy of Detention, being able to take 2 of their Phoenixes, oh cool, yeah, that's great, I love it. So I guess I'm just going to Kinjalli Sunwing. I think I would rather play out Stormtamer plus Siren plus Hawk. This way, my opponent isn't going to be able to target me with another Thought Erasure or something like that. And we have a decent board presence going on. Like Sell the Wreckage, I can counter. So Teferi. This is just creature or yeah.
You'll thank me later.
They're just plus, okay.
Nothing.
Very interesting. I think I just want to put that to 1, right? Like, I don't want him to be able to bounce anything. Yeah, it's possible I should just be going face. I'm kind of fine taking the damage.
Hey, that was uncalled for.
Why am I facing actual Esper Planeswalkers with the Flyers deck, man? But yeah, against is it? Oh, I guess I've played nothing but good decks so far. I've only this is my third deck that I've played with it, but still, I'm unranked, guys. Come on. So Deputy was really nice. Are you serious?
This isn't a fight.
Really? Wait. Oh, no, not what I wanted to do. Wait, sure, that's fine. I get to kill both your planeswalkers. So my opponent's just, like, bad, I guess? Right? I get to kill both of these. I don't really care about that. That's a great card to do at instant speed. Honestly, I'm just gonna fucking pay the life. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna lose some more life. Sure. I'll go to 16, I don't care. I get rid of both of their planeswalkers. I have this active. And end of turn, I can cast this. I don't know if, like, my opponent's gonna have a counterspell or whatever. Like, the reason I'm holding this is because I don't want to play into a Kai's Wrath or a Cleansing Nova. But if they're going with Narset, it's probably fine. I hope they don't get a counterspell here, but I think I still want to wait. Well, no, I probably should have done that first. Okay, sure, Liliana. And let's see if this deploy goes through. Yup. Ooh, cast this Nightveil Sprite, don't mind that. So Narset's definitely going to bite the dust. Then... Alright, I can chain things, that's cool. Yeah, whatever.
I shall miss your company.
I really don't... Like, I don't want to play into a board wipe. My opponent has one more land, they can just play this Liliana. Well, if they minus, I take care of these. I do have this up, so, yeah, sure. It plays into a board wipe for sure. But I do at least have another creature coming, so, you know. Right, is it Drakes? Right. Stormtamer helped because they tried to kill my Deputy of Detention. I sacked it, obviously. Narset, sure, dude. Look for stuff, man.
I know
Keep on looking. Keep on looking for things, dude. You don't got nothing, man. I can't believe we're actually potentially going to beat this deck. Potentially. So once again, she dies. And I smork face. Right, I need to chain these. That's cool. I don't remember who told me about this, but it's pretty cool. Do I want another Nightveil Sprite? I mean, I guess, right? Like, just every flyer I'll take. Do I cast Kinjalli's Sunwing? I have another creature coming. And it's a Nightveil Sprite? Yeah, sure. I want to kill my opponent. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10... okay, 13 dabblage. That's... I guess technically I probably shouldn't have played that, because I had them dead in 2 turns, and this doesn't change that clock. But if they're going to use a Vraska's Contempt, which they very well might, then it would need to. Oh, what a fool. So I'm going to go ahead and sack this, because... 1, it removes them from taking 2 damage. And 2, this is a more powerful card. And Smork. And I get to scry. I don't want to land. So, since I don't know what's there, I am going to not cast this. Especially since I had them on dead. Something else was good against Drakes. I don't freaking remember what it was. And then the second game was against fucking Burn. It was mono red. It was like stockpiled mono red. And once again, Deputy of Detention, Siren Stormtamer were so helpful in that matchup. I was able to just say, nah, screw that. What are you doing? Lol. Good game, bro. Good game. That's what you get for playing Esper Control and Ranked, my friend. That's what you get for playing Esper Control and Ranked. Just saying. Yeah. Deputy was able to take away a, Steamkin. And I was able to gain life with Elite. I was able to gain life with, Bird, Doctor creation thing. So, very helpful. I go first, and I have Sphinx of fucking hell yeah, dude. turn 2, turn 3, turn 4? Seems pretty lit, fam. Oh, I'm not remotely cool or young enough to say that. Hell yeah, bro. You get to see. Ooh. I mean, yeah, right? I think I want to hide this. I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, it's looking pretty lit, fam. I'm not sorry. I'm not remotely sorry. Turn 2, turn 3. Oh, maybe this will on turn 3 instead. Going against mono red again. I love how he's trying to get me with the bait. I don't fucking care what you're doing here. So yeah, it's probably going to be a Deputy on a Steamkin if they play it. Deputy might die, but, you know, Kesselvi and all that. Oh, on 2 Firebrands. Well, Firebrand probably wouldn't, they probably, well, if my opponent's smart enough, they would. Oh, is it just Gobos? Look, if it's Gobos, I take back what I said, you know. Gotta respect the goblins. So I could just play this as a 3-4, which is pretty damn good. I'm just going to take the 2 Fanatical Firebrands, I guess. Do I take the Rigging Runner? I'll take the Rigging Runner, I guess. Like, if he kills this, right, then you get these back with haste, so it's like... Quel est le point? I don't know. Going over to the good old-fashioned Discord. Gatlin asks, how long does it take your beard to regrow after you burn it off with a welder? Skewer, yeah. But, didn't attack first. So this is only a 1-1 now. I am just going to pass the turn. Once they attack, I'm going to deploy. I'm going to gain 2. I'm going to have 2 4/4s. I'm going to block the Firebrands. Eat my butt. Don't actually, though. Oh. What a fool. Ooh, baby, I love you way. I want to be with you night and day. Do I just kill another Firebrand? Do I yeet the Rigging Runner out of here? I'll yeet the Rigging Runner. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't care. Seems pretty good. Ow, ow. If I get a land, favorable winds plus Sunwing's pretty good. Looks like it's favorable winds plus Sunwing. This means that their hasty boys are going to be even worse. And now I can start profitably blocking that. So, yeah. Your move, Kyla. I don't think I've actually cut my entire beard off since sometime in college, like junior year or something. I trim it, obviously. You know, my beard would be freaking huge if I didn't trim it. But I think, I don't know, 6 months? To get back to, like, full beardage around there, I guess? I don't know. I do need to kill my opponent. So I think attacking with this... Let's see, this will put them down to 16. Yeah, so I think I attack with this. Puts them to 16. And then I can start attacking with this. But I get a scry. You know, my board is not the easiest to deal with. Flame of Keld? That shouldn't come into play? Like, it shouldn't matter? Scry. If it's a land, it's going to the bottom. I'd love an Azor. I'd love Flyboy, that Elite Guardmage. That'd be pretty damn good. I'll take it! Ripperoni pepperoni. Oh, they were dead. I would have figured it out, but they were dead. I had 6 plus 4. It's 10 plus 3 plus 3. 6. They were at 16. They were dead. I would have caught it, I swear. Once again, like, these random freaking decks are doing so much better than I expected, right? The Wolfgang was doing nice. I should just call that deck Mozart. Yeah, I think this is fine. You know, turn 1, turn 3, I can play this tapped on turn 2. Only issue is, like, making sure I can get to this, but it should be fine, especially with the 3-lander. Viscount Belial. Interesting name, I suppose. Jester asks, ice cream or gelato? I had to double check what the hell gelato is. Or what the difference is. Oh gosh. Play this tapped, my friend. Attack. Oh, frick. Is this Simic ramp? I hate everyone. Gelato's like silkier. And I'm not necessarily about that life. I mean, that's fine. I assume it's going to take Deputy. If it doesn't take Deputy, I just take it. Oh, right, I forgot I can't take creatures. I'm stupid. So no, it's Sultai. But I'm the only one who's allowed to have flyers, so, you know, F off. I love a 4-drop. Or I'd love something to cast next turn, because I just don't. Obviously I have nice fly damage. Heal's Hawk, I mean, you know, I said something to cast. This is something to cast. And the following turn I can play out my Windstorm Drake. Following that, probably going to be able to play Dream Eater on a Wildgrowth Walker. They're probably going to play Jadelight Ranger. Because I'm the only person playing a fun deck in Unranked, apparently. Whatever. I choose ice cream. I don't care nothing about gelato. I shouldn't keep that on top, yeah. But I also wanted to talk about the different stand-up blocks between sherbet and sorbet. Now, no, I guess I don't want to do that, right? Like, I could cast Finality. Yeah, I don't want them to be able to get back a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'll do this. I take sherbet versus sorbet, and I understand that... I understand that people like to think that sherbet should be actually sherbet, but language is descriptive, not prescriptive. If people understand sherbet to be a certain thing, then that's what it is, right? So, fuck them. No! No! No!
I've lost so much that can't happen. Not again.
Rude. Oh, well, obviously you have to die. Yeah, this game is probably just a loss. These like super value mid-range decks, very difficult for this to deal with. Like against aggro, as I said, we have enough life gain to pretty easily deal with it. Let's take 7, dude. I don't care. We have enough life gain to pretty easily take care of it, but we don't. Are you really gonna Finality? No, Crisis. Of course you are. I assume my opponent's now gonna Finality. Yep, Finality. You'll put it on. Yeah, that's the correct one to put it on. I need a top deck of land. Not a land. I don't think anyone cares about watching me play against Sultai, right? I haven't played against one non-meta deck. But I have won against all but one non-meta deck, so just saying. Let's see. Surf, turf, or both. So, a little bit of information on my eating habits. Pork is my favorite meat, but I mostly eat fish. Like for me, it goes like pork, fish, chicken, and like the rest is like really far down. I don't care that much about. But I eat mostly fish, and so it's like mostly fish, then chicken, because those are just like the two healthiest meats. And then I'll have, I'll have pork from time to time, some bacon here, some pork chops there. But for the most part, I don't eat a ton of pork. I guess I have like some processed pork, like pepperonis, things like that. But for the most part, it's fish and chicken. And I almost never eat I would like Curious Obsession, but it's a bit slow. Kinjalli is a good card to play. Well, I have Warden. Because I'm playing this on turn 2. Oh, you know what? So I think I want actually to like play this on turn 2. On turn 3, I can play Favorable Winds plus Curious Obsession. So yeah, let's do that, I guess. Do this. Do nothing on turn 1. Don't have very many ones, so it's all good. All right, we've seen blue so far. Oh right, I'm dumb. I can't play Favorable Winds plus Curious Obsession. Well, that's fine. Do my opponent's on. Well, looks like I won't be able to get any value because my opponent's going to kill my Nightveil Sprite. No, they didn't. Okay, cool. Sure. This will become a 2/3, which is actually very important because it means they'll have to use one of the 3 damage removal spells on it. This, I assume, is it Drake's? Is it? Yes. Play this out. And honestly, if they don't kill it on my following turn, I'm just going to play out Favorable Winds. And if I draw another blue source, I'm going to play out both Favorable Winds. So that it's going to be even... Oh, it's Grixis Control. Honestly, not what I expected. What I expected. Oh, hell yeah, bro. They just use one of these. They probably have removal for this, but it's just the most efficient use of my mana. Next turn, I probably will end up playing a Sunwing plus Favorable Winds. I assume this is going to die. Oh, okay. Grixis Control just didn't have black, I guess. Just winning with a casual fliers deck. I mean, like, it's unranked, so my opponent didn't lose anything by conceding there. But still, like, stop playing good decks in unranked. Banana asks, how stupid does buying a bike... I'm gonna rephrase your question, dude. Your question is worded horribly. How stupid is it to buy a bike for a weekend trip and then selling it afterwards? If you have the money, do with it what you will. It's your money, use it when you need it. Call JG Wentworth today. Going up against 1, 2, 3. Going up against Nissa 3 numbers. Esper. Alright, well. Oh, wow, Lawbringer. One of the Sunwings, I guess? Windstorm Drake, I don't know. Sure, that's fine. Dude's playing another, we're just dealing with another player who just wants to win, I guess. Deputy, I think Deputy's fine because I assume my opponent is going to play a Teferi here. Because they're trash? No. Okay. Sure. Just gonna keep attacking you, friend. Now, they could wipe my board, so I'm not keen on playing the other Sunwing. Don't actually think I want this. Got 4 damage. Right now, that's what, 5? No. 4 turns? If I played Sunwing, I'd have 6 damage. It would be 3 turns. Am I doing math correctly? Yes. I have 4 damage. It's 1 left. Yeah. I can't do 3 turns because 3 turns is 12. Yeah, I don't want to play too far into a board wipe. I think it's correct to not cast anything else. Just another Lawbringer? I assume you take the Sunwing? My opponent has had 3 fucking Lawbringers in a row. Oh man. They might take, yeah, Deputy. So that kind of means to me that they don't have a board wipe. I'm fine with that. So this is 4, this is 6, I guess. I do need another land. I guess I probably should have put that on bottom, but that's fine, because I still have these. Let's just do this at instant speed, targeting one of my creatures or something. Yeah. Try and draw a land here. Now that those are lands, I assume we're going to get Contempted. No. Alright, opponent's at 1. Sure. I really wish I had freaking land. Well, I put that on the bottom. I would have drawn this. This might be a land, I guess. So there's the Contempt, yeah. So they're at 3, so they still die in 2 turns. Sure, I mean, it's another creature. Oh, if I just was drawing lands. Kaisrath, sure. I really need a land this turn. Fucking thank you. I'm gonna play this because it's still lethal, and it does draw me an additional card. I really hope I don't just lose the game because I just didn't draw enough lands in a row. Are you gonna double up on Moment of Craving? No. Okay. So we're gonna try and win. Absorb? No, Sabotage. Okay, they're still at 1. You know, they're fighting for their life. They have to have another thing. Fuck. Okay, to fairy, to minus.
Right on schedule.
Sure.
Time is much more malleable than people think.
Play Stormtamer. Question is, do they have another board wipe? Gotta hope they don't have it. Teferial Plus, they'll draw another additional card.
We need to move quickly.
We have Content on that? Sure. Not what I wanted to see. Sure.
Keep up the pace.
See if this resolves. Cry? Sure. Alright. Let's draw the new card, which is nice. Okay, I assume Teferi might bounce here if that's all he has. If he pluses, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't have that, but...
You know what? I'm not done.
Okay. Okay. Wow, okay. Then he minuses?
I am not going to sit this one out.
Alright.
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
Deputy plus Sprite. This way he can't draw as many cards.
Meet again.
I have Lethal on board. Let's see if this works. Valorn, whose deck I'm playing. Are there any shitty cards that you really like but can't find any worthwhile way to play? Like cards... Yeah, fuck you for playing Esper Control in fucking Unranked. I've played nothing but real decks, meta decks I should say. And I beat almost all of them. Bite me. Store. Picks. One pack. Like cards that are cool in theory or aesthetically, but just don't perform well. I'm gonna say Jin-Gitaxias and in Commander. And the reason I say that, I understand that you can play Jin-Gitaxias in Commander, but you usually have to get him out in like stupid ways. I'm talking about like fucking hard cast Jin-Gitaxias. Because I fucking love, like I love, if you don't know, I styled my name kind of similar to the Gitaxian like science thing, because I thought it was fucking cool. I thought Jin-Gitaxias were cool. So that's what I did. So I really think the character is interesting, although I think he's been brought low. No. Urbrask and Shieldred have been brought low. I think he's sided with Elish Norn, which is cool. But I think that, in standard, like Muldrotha, but she's not shitty. She just isn't as good to play. Enigma, I'm going to answer your question for tomorrow's video, because that would take too long for me to say. I'm going to research that shit. But these are some of the cards that I either took out, or I just didn't decide to put in. Tomic was in, very interesting card. You know, 2 mana, 2/3 is pretty decent by itself. The extra, like, it's essentially ribbon text, right? That is almost never going to come in handy, but when it does, it is nice. That said, the double white was something I didn't want to deal with, even though it's pretty easy in a deck like this. So I just decided to cut it for the Nightveil Sprites, which not only are more budget friendly, but allow you to get a little bit more of that decisions on how the game plays out. Worst Creature I cut because Nightveil Sprite is better. Fairy Duelist I cut because it helps against aggro, but I decided that the better way to beat aggro was to have some of these life gain cards. Dovin's Veto is a card you can play in the sideboard if you're dealing with a lot of these stupid control decks. Resplendent Angel is a card I thought about, but I decided against because I didn't plan on getting to 6 mana consistently enough to warrant using her instead of something else. Absorb, if you want to be like a tempo version where you play a few flyers early on, then you start holding up instant speeds like your counter spells, as well as your Warrant Wardens, your Depose, Deploy, things like that. And then you could maybe throw in more flash creatures. You know, that would be something that you could do. Very similar to Lawmage's Binding. This is something that was in the deck. I decided to take it out because I preferred Deputy of Detention because it can hit other things. But if you want to have a bit more of a budget option than Deputy of Detention, because that is rare, you can go pretty far with Lawmage's Binding. The only issue, of course, is that 1, it won't get rid of a horde of things, and 2, it can only hit creatures, right? So it's useful in that slot, especially if you do end up going more of a wide style of deck. Resplendent Griffin is fine for the Kinjalli Sunwing, you know, to come in against this or Dovin, because although it's only a 3-mana 2/2, that's kind of fine when you consider that if you're able to get a bit more of a wide board, and I would say for a budget version, you probably do want to up your land count to 24 to more consistently get decent hands, because you're not going to have as strong of cards overall. So you want to make sure that your hands, your game is never going to be like my last game was, where I was kind of struggling on lands, because each of my individual cards had a relatively decent power level. But when you bring that power level down, you want to make sure that the gameplay goes a bit more smoothly overall, so it can kind of even out. And with that addition in land, the Resplendent Griffin gets a lot better. I would also say that if you end up going this kind of budget route, Resplendent Griffin is much better with Deploy, so I would say up that to 4 as well, because it's a nice budget option. Ixalan's Binding is a decent removal option. As I said, if you aren't able to get those Deputy of Detentions, Ixalan's Binding does pretty damn good work. Settled Wreckage, it's like a helpful board wipe if you're going against aggro, but as I said, I think that I had slightly better things against aggro. That said, this is a fantastic sideboard option against that Sultai Control deck. And that matchup is so horrendous, I might even suggest running like 3 in the sideboard if you so please. Sphinx of New Prov is a good card. It's essentially a replacement for Sphinx of Foresight. if you don't want to play Elite Guardmage, if you want to kind of go for a more Sphinxy feel, you know, the fact that it is a Flying Vigilance 4 attack creature is nice. You know, this does beat out Guardmage in terms of the raw power. And it's a little bit harder for your opponents to deal with. But that said, if you're going just like full budget, I would just say play 4 of the Guard Mages. Lawbringer. She flies, but she doesn't help our flyers. You know, she's cool, but I was like, I'm going to try and stick to not Lyra. I don't know. Azorius Skies DeckTech is an okay 6 drop if you don't have access to Dream Eater, you know, plug that in. I would say like try to have at least one Azor because he's fucking cool. But you know, it's okay. It's an okay option to replace either of those high-end cards. And then of course, Parhelion is just a meme, and I wanted to mention it because it does make other flyers. But don't play this because it costs 8 mana, and you'd need more ways to make mana. You can also splice black in here relatively easily as long as you have the mana for it. I would say that even in a budget version, if you're trying to go Esper flyers, you're going to want to have a decent amount of mana. And some of the really interesting flyers for Esper, we saw some of them. Flying, dumbass. We saw one of them. The Kitesail Freebooter is a card that's very helpful in this style of deck. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you'd probably just drop Nightveil Sprite for it because the disruption is very helpful. But you do have access to, where are you? Doom Whisperer in the top end. This, of course, is not budget friendly, but Doom Whisperer in the top end is really nice because it is a Chungus that lets you surveil. It is life gain, or life loss, which is a thing, you know, but still, it's okay. You get access to Seraph of Scales. You get access to Thief of Affinity, right? There are a lot of good cards in the Esper version. Technically, you could probably build your deck a little bit more for Demir's Spy, but I don't think it's worth it. But they're not budget options, right? This is a potential budget option for an Esper version, but I would say stick to blue-white in general. But if you have the mana for it, the Esper Flyers deck is totally fine. You're just going to see most of this get kind of eaten away by better cards like Seraph of Scales, like Thief of Sanity. So I hope that deck was interesting. I really appreciate Valorn for playing against me and giving me a nice base to build off of, because I didn't want to build flyers from scratch, frankly. But I would now like to move on and thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander, Croft, Zin, and Naruto for the continued support. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel, you'll find links to that down in the description below, or you just press that join button, become one of them good old Phyrexian type boys. In the description, you'll also find links to my Aether account, where I host all of my deck lists, including this one, because I have made it my own Valorn, as well as my Discord server, where we can chat, and you can give me deck ideas that I will shout you out if that's worth anything to you. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, cast one of them comments to the comment section down below, pass the turn and the video to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.